Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the India Today special coverage of the Axis My India exit poll. That's right, the exit polls are back again. This time, Rahul and I are going to bring you arguably the most fascinating election of 2023. That the election that lots of people have been looking out for, the numbers everyone wants to see. It's the Telangana exit poll.
I have in my hands the numbers for Telangana, all of Telangana, political observers across the country, and even those with any connection to Hyderabad or Telangana all around the world waiting for these numbers. So much so that some of the top leaders who'd seen their own polls, they'd seen some of the other polls, they said, we will believe only once India Today puts out its exact poll. They weren't willing to believe their own poll. They wanted to wait for the India Today numbers. So we're going to have that out in just a while.
I'll tell you what happened. I was sitting at a lunch table with 4 people who understand
so
their politics.
So, सुबह से मैं rundown बना रहा हूँ और आप lunch कर रहे हो बताया. This is like, we need to change jobs.
This is at age at 58. When you're a consulting editor, you can choose your time. So I was sitting with some people and we were all politically very sharp. We were talking about it. And the table next to us overheard us talking about Telangana. Turned out that the person was from Hyderabad. Came and took over our table and told us exactly what he believes is going to happen in Hyderabad.
Did he put the bill on?
Gave us reasons for it, wanted to know why we had not done the poll yesterday, gave all kinds of explanations, and then said at the end of the day, when I told him, you can watch it at 6 p.m., he said, don't worry, I watch your show regularly, and trust me, until those numbers come out, I will not believe what I saw yesterday. So, there are lots of people, and it's a very, very politically alive state.
Oh, absolutely. I want to tell our viewers that the Access My India team was polling, and Pradeep Gupta is with us. He was polling till 4 p.m., till late this evening, because this is a post-poll study, and we're trying to make it as stratified as is possible. Our teams were out in the fields even till this evening, so we don't have proper sheets as we would in Excel sheets. It's a bit of a, hurriedly done job because the polling was going on till late in the evening. So Pradeep, first and foremost, I think a lot of people appreciated your decision to push the Telangana numbers by a day because it's better to be safe than sorry, and it's better to the extent possible, make the effort to ensure there's no error.
It's called double check technique.
Double check technique.
Yeah, when you do the double check, whatever possible error, you may rectify them.
So let me just explain what that means for our viewers. So when you poll the first time, you get some seats where there are clear indicators, some seats which are tough fights. Yeah. By holding back your poll for a while, you have the opportunity of going back to those seats and sampling again to see if you pick up the same trend or you pick up a different trend. And that's what the India Today and Access My India teams do, and we've been doing, which is also why the India Today team, along with Access, has a 94% track record, 60 out of 64 polls being spot on. That doesn't mean anything. India played 10 matches really well and then lost the final. So we don't want to hype this up too much. We want to keep it real. This is an analytical exercise. Somehow I feel, Rajdeep, that it becomes like a matter of life and death, as if, the entire coverage depends on the poll. Frankly, it doesn't. This is an analytical tool, a very important analytical tool. But there is so much to our coverage, and this is a very significant aspect of it, but not the only aspect.
You see, part of the problem is my friend Mr. Gupta is a bit of an outlier. And therefore, the moment he was an outlier yesterday on Madhya Pradesh, for example, and I'm fully sympathetic to him, you suddenly have people making all kinds of wild allegations, totally baseless, because Pradeep is from Madhya Pradesh. So everyone wants to know, what is Pradeep's connections here and there. And I must give him a lot of credit. Even at that lunch, when I wanted to know the numbers, this was around 2:30, he said, wait till 4:30. And the guy sitting on my table with me who was giving us all his gyan was not willing to wait till 4:30. He actually was threatening to come to office with me and meet Mr. Gupta and tell Mr. Gupta exactly what's happening in North Telangana, Central Telangana, Hyderabad. But I think there's a lot of interest because the stakes are very high, increasingly in state elections. I think that's the big change that's taken place in recent times. It's not about what happens every 5 years in general elections. Every state election, and because Mr. Modi himself and the other side of the Congress in this case invest so much of energy in every poll now that media surround sound has become so high. Everyone wants to know what's happening. And frankly, eventually at 5 o'clock, I put my phone off for a half an hour so that no one would trouble me. But that's the way it is. But just to introduce Preeti Chaudhary, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rajdeep.
Preeti is going to give us more insights. Rahul Verma is joining us. Ashok Malik, you're coming on day 2. Welcome.
Thank you.
And T.S. Sudhir, all the way from Hyderabad, with that wonderful moustache of his, which all of us should learn to get the right twirl that T.S. Sudhir has.
What's with that moustache?
Just like that, I change my look every 6 months.
He was stopped. We were having breakfast somewhere in Hyderabad. He was stopped. And they said, "You were in that film, no?" He's a bit of a film star. Bit of a film star looks.
I want to take a moment to talk about that video. Yes, that video which has been viraling like crazy, and people think it's some kind of a leaked video. In fact, one of the first calls I got this morning, Rajdeep, was from the Chief Minister of one of these states. I don't want to name him. But he said, मैंने वो आपका वीडियो देखा, उसमें कुछ ऐसा है नहीं, वो तो काफ़ी सामान्य आपकी बातचीत हो रही है. And उसमें मैंने काफ़ी लोग मुझे बताया, मैंने देखा, तो उसमें तो ठीक है. I said, sir, वो तो promo video है. He says, promo वो leak नहीं हुआ. I said, sir, it's been tweeted out from the official handle of the India Today group. And it kind of went wild. So remember this one occasion when we were doing a dry run and we had testing data at the back and that viraled and went crazy. And here as well, a video treated as part of a promotion from the official handle of the India Today group. Everyone's in a spin thinking that that's some kind of a fake video.
You and Pradeep are very good actors. You see, Pradeep Gupta over the years has proven to be a decent dancer. He's more than a good actor. And then he sometimes also does polling. So that entire sequence in that video appears very real. And it was the subject of a full press conference was called based on the video.
What was that press conference
in Bhopal
about?
Today, a full press conference was called because they said the video has exposed the fact that the entire Madhya Pradesh poll has been rigged by Axis by India.
No.
Laddus were distributed to the journalists,
But
saying we have proven now, we have proof.
You know, and the problem is there are some very senior leaders who are saying this. And the problem is that once a poll is done and there's no polling happening after that and only the results have to come out, apart from some prestige and some credibility and reputation and bragging rights, there's really nothing at stake. There's nothing that can change in a material fashion.
They try to say that EVMs can be rigged based on this poll because there is a tough fight kind of a situation. Then nobody can blame the ECI why this is happening because poll is showing good. So where is the question of this?
No, but the fact is...
They have written that. They have written in the note.
But look at the way it's played out. Our poll in Chhattisgarh is giving the Congress the edge in what could be a hung assembly, but a clear edge to the Congress. Even in Rajasthan, it's giving the Congress the edge in what could again potentially be a hung assembly. So you've got two states where it's the Congress which is ahead. No one from the BJP, to be fair to them, has rung us up and said, your Rajasthan numbers are horribly wrong. We're going to win. I think the Congress in Madhya Pradesh seems to have got agitated. How are you giving such a big margin? That can
but
happen.
many in the BJP in Rajasthan are calling to say that this poll is completely bogus. Well,
No, they haven't at least gone public with it. Let's be honest. They haven't held press conferences. I haven't seen anyone hold a press conference in Rajasthan.
Immature. From some of the senior most Congress leaders in Madhya Pradesh, that's very immature.
Rahul, Rajdeep is right because the difference in both the sides is that they may say that we don't accept your poll, which is fair and fine. Yeah. But you cannot charge allegation of my Pradeep Gupta की 3 पीढ़ी RSS से संबंधित है और वगैरह 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 वगैरह.
But that's unfair, and I explain why. Because ultimately, it's a post-poll study. None of this, if this is done before the polls, you can say it's done in an effort to influence the voters. It can be argued, which is not correct, but it can be argued. This is a post-poll exercise. Everything is done and dusted. So you have some bragging rights, you have Rajdeep and Pradeep doing a natu. I mean, all that is at stake. Whether the cake gets cut or doesn't get cut, I mean, really, that's what's at stake. And the fact that you have a very deep analytical study, which gives you insights which you wouldn't get on counting day.
No, some of the most intelligent people that I know are making all kinds of wild accusations. So I wish people just tracked polls more seriously, more rigorously.
The BJP hasn't also said anything is because we've been the outlier in that poll where Rajasthan is concerned. Most polls are giving Rajasthan to the Bharatiya Janata Party.
So the overall sample size in these 5 states is 132,000 people. So these are 132,000 respondents who've not just answered with a yes or no. We've had the opportunity to ask them lots of questions about why they voted the way they did, who they think is the best chief minister, what are the issues that triggered them, what they think of the performance of the governments, etc., which you won't get in the data that comes from the Election Commission. That's the true value of the poll. So we have in Telangana, we'll put out the numbers in a short while from now, a sample size of 26,188. Our Madhya Pradesh sample size is 47,000, Rajasthan 38,500, Chhattisgarh 16,000, Mizoram 4,000. That's a very robust and a very big sample, Rajdeep. And that, I think, is the true utility. So don't look at some conspiracy or hang on to some leaked video which is being tweeted from the official handle of the India Today group. How can that ever be a leaked video?
And what is the big difference? I think viewers need to realize Pradeep's team is going to every constituency, which is, requires a lot of effort. Earlier, we would do random sampling. You chose chose certain constituencies which were often bellwether constituencies. Based on that, you made extrapolations. He's not really extrapolating. The biggest challenge for any pollster is to get vote share transfer into seat share. That's the big challenge. You may get your vote share right, but you've got to get seat share. With Pradeep, I've found interestingly, may not agree, he sometimes doesn't always get his vote share right. But more often than not, he will get you your seat share right because he's going to every seat. And that's really what is the key. The key is to get your seat share right. And very often in the past, people would get vote share right but would struggle to get seat share. Now we've got the reverse happening. So you've actually got to see this as a step up, that we are actually improving the way polling is done in India.
And lots of people were critiquing that how do you know OBCs are X percentage or Dalits are X, Y percentage or upper castes are such percentage. That is the percentage of the sample which we have in our survey. Obviously no caste study has been done, so we don't know how many Jats are there or how many Gujars are there, Meenas are there to the precise decimal. But what this does is it gives you, in the interest of transparency, in the interest of building credibility and trust around polling, put out in the public domain, which no other pollster does, the kind of detailing that India Today and Access My India make available in the public domain. Nobody else even ventures. They just take out a number from their bag and they put it out, lena hai lo, nahi lena mat lo.
Okay.
So, should we get started, Rajdeep?
Let's get started.
So, what I was thinking
We've given enough of caveats.
Lots of gyan, yeah. So, what we'll do is, we will take you through because this is a seat-by-seat breakup, we'll take you through the fortunes of the VIPs in some of the key constituencies in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram. We'll come to Telangana in just a moment. I've also done lots of cross-tabs where we look at the popularity of the Prime Minister, how the women are voting, how tribals are voting, Dalits are voting across different states. And we've got Rahul Verma, Ashok Malik and T.S. Sudhir who will try and join the dots for us. But let's get started with the VIP candidates. Rajdeep, you want to come with me?
Yes.
We'll just go across and we'll take our viewers through the VIP candidates, and this is EI 3.0. The real magic of EI 3.0 is on counting day, but we'll give you a sneak peek of what to expect in the VIP seats of Madhya Pradesh. So we'll start with Madhya Pradesh. So what you will see on counting day is whether they're winning or trailing. What we've done right now, and I'll take Shivraj Singh Chauhan from Budni. This is the seat that he's fighting against. He's up against Vikram Mastal, and this is the guy who played the role of Lord Hanuman in Ramayan too. So what we are saying, and I'll give you one as a sample, he is strong, which means in our poll, he is leading, and Vikram Matsal of the Congress is weak, which means he's trailing. There are some seats which will become tough fights. So Pradeep will explain that, but that's how it goes. So that's the first seat. Let's now come, Rajdeep, to the next seat. This is Kamal Nath. Rajdeep.
Kamal Nath is quite a remarkably enduring politician because he contested his first election way back in 1980. He's lost only one election. Interestingly, the election that he lost meaning he put up his wife in a by-election in 1996 when he was charged with Hawala. He wasn't given the ticket. He put up his wife Alka and she lost to the old strongman of Madhya Pradesh of the BJP, Sundarlal Patwa. But apart from that, he's won every election, whether state or general election. And that's quite a feat. So he is winning. Often the face of your party will win. That doesn't mean your party is doing very well.
Do you want to explain, Pradeep, before we go further, how people should read this data? I'm just being careful because this is not a gimmick or a game, right? And because people are taking every comma and full stop so seriously, so even if it gets a bit technical, I want to spend some time on how you should decode this rather than just saying, he's winning, he's trailing, Shivraj jeete, Kamal Nath jeete, or XYZ hare. Just explain how to look at this data in a more meaningful fashion.
This is the kind of popularity of that particular party on that day because people vote for a symbol. Symbol belongs to a party. So it is not the personal this thing ki Kamal Nath is losing or winning or the Shivraj Singh is losing or winning. it is that party which was most popular on the polling day.
Now remember, we had Narottam Mishra with us, Rajdeep, yesterday, the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Interestingly, and that's the first surprise coming out of the data, Narottam Mishra is looking weak on his seat, which doesn't mean he will lose. So
no, this is the tough fight seat.
This is a tough fight seat.
This is the tough fight seat.
Exactly. So this is a tough fight seat where the poll shows Narottam Mishra in a tough situation. So he's not looking strong on that seat. It doesn't mean he will lose, which is why, look at the word, he's looking weak. He doesn't mean it will lose. But that's a tough one. Narottam Mishra, very flamboyant, outspoken Rajdeep.
Last time also there was only 1% difference, 46 to 47. 1%
it's a tough
difference
seat.
he won.
You see,
Yeah.
this is the region where the Congress was hoping to make gains. But right across, if you're seeing, I think the significance is all the BJP's union ministers, Narendra Singh Tomar, Prahlad Patel, Pagan Singh Kulaste, are all looking strong. So the BJP had a strategy. I think the BJP micromanaged Madhya Pradesh. They decided if we put up these union ministers, we will get the benefit in the constituencies around it. And from what our data is showing, that's happening. You know, Narendra Singh Tomar, many people, when you went to Dimni, said, he's in trouble. Local journalists said, takkar hai. Because there are two Tomars there, and there is one Rajput in that, there are two Rajputs there, and there is one Brahman there. So they thought, in the fight between the Tomars, will the Brahman come through? That's not happening at the moment. He's looking strong.
Let me explain this seat in a detail. This Dantodia, who is contesting from BSP seat, and Ravin, this time the MLA one, Congress MLA one, he came to BJP with Sindhya, and bypoll happened, and BJP lost very badly the same candidate with the margin of 28,000 votes. The same candidate who won, he lost from ticket of BJP, and in 2013 election, BSP number 1 and BJP was number 3. So it was a very difficult seat.
Okay.
But this time, it is like one way. Congress will be third place.
Let's
here.
now come to Indore. Kailash Vijayvargiya, the General Secretary for West Bengal, flamboyant, outspoken, sometimes controversial. He's fighting. He said, "Arey, mere ko to ladna hi nahi tha, mujhe bhej diya." But anyway, he's looking comfortable. Kailash Vijayvargiya in Madhya Pradesh, on the seat of Indore 1, looking well placed to win.
And this is also very strong seat for Congress. Sanjay Shukla is a too strong a candidate, and that is the precisely reason why BJP sent heavyweights likes of Kailash Vijayvargiya.
Pagan Singh Kulaste, Rajdeep, you know this man well.
Yeah, he cashed for votes. He was among those involved in the cash for votes story. But again, you know, this is strategy. How many parties would risk sending 7 MPs, not 1 or 2? You send 7 MPs into Madhya Pradesh in the hope that those MPs would lift your morale. Now, if all of them win, you will have a problem at the center. You're going to have to, you know.
What will they do, Ashok Malik, most likely? Now, most of these ministers seem to be winning. Now, you've got just a few months to go for the general elections. Do you then, because you will have to, if all of them go to Madhya Pradesh, do some kind of a cabinet reshuffle and bring new people in, but just a few months to go?
I think the BJP would have achieved 2 things if these results hold. One, they sent all these heavyweights to Madhya Pradesh and said, you all have skin in the game. So you can't sit back and say, let Shivraj win and lose this election. I'm not involved. You have skin in the game, you get involved. And the chief minister's job is open to anyone because they have not declared a chief minister. So they all
but can I argue that if the BJP ends up with the kind of seat share that Pradeep is predicting, 140 to 162, it's very difficult then to change Shivraj Singh Chauhan. At 105, 115, you say, okay, we manage the election.
I would, there's a counter argument to that.
Which is?
If you have a very narrow majority, then Shivraj, it's difficult to replace Shivraj because the last time when you managed to form a very precarious government by getting Sindhya's people in, only Shivraj could hold together that. But with 150 seats, if indeed it is 150 seats, frankly, the BJP has more agency.
But what impact might that have on the Lok Sabha elections then?
I think for the Lok Sabha election, if you look at Mr. Modi through the years, from Gujarat onwards, he's always changed a lot of candidates.
No. I'm
years,
saying if you replace Shivraj, bring one of these ministers in and make them chief minister, then if Shivraj gets upset, he ultimately is a politician, could he potentially make Madhya Pradesh tougher than it otherwise would?
Rahul, let's be very clear. if they get the numbers that Pradeep is predicting, you cannot change Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Not an
No,
OBC.
he's
not
arguing
an
the
OBC.
opposite. He's arguing the opposite.
No, that's my point. You see, a lot of these, barring except for Prahlad Patel,
Prahlad Patel is Mahakaushal.
yeah, so Prahlad
right
Patel,
next to
Prahlad Patel
Chhindwara.
there has been a silent campaign of his supporters also on social media, Prahlad Patel for CM. All the others, remember, are either upper caste. You see, you cannot change an OBC chief minister easily 5 months before an election. I think the BJP recognized the shift. If you see September, they were not projecting Shivraj Singh Chauhan aggressively. By the time October comes, second list of the BJP, Shivraj got all his people in. First list, there was a sense that Shivraj was being checkmated. I get a sense, 150, how do you change someone who is now your face? I mean, Ladli Behna, whether we like it or not, is associated with Shivraj Singh. If at all there is to be a change, it can take place post-2024 if Mr. Modi wins. Then you can change.
Preeti wants to make a point.
Sorry.
Two quick points. Prahlad Patel was Narsinghpur, adjoining the constituency of the Chief Minister, Chhindwara. He's been able to influence 3 or 4 seats around that same area, Lodi, OBC. But what's interesting also, Rahul, is you speak about Narottam Mishra. I went to his constituency. You know who's he up against? He's up against a former RSS functionary who actually for the last 3 elections was the one who was managing his campaign. He's a sitting 6-time MLA, Narottam Mishra. Managing his campaign, the Congress gave Avdesh Nayak a ticket, and he's the one who's defeating Narottam Mishra, if at all these numbers hold
No,
true.
it's not defeating.
No, I said he's in a tight fight.
Contest, tight contest.
One more caveat, correction to your facts. 2 first list and second list, BJP released 79 seats. Only 1 seat of Prahlad Patel was of the sitting BJP MLAs. All 78 seats were where BJP lost. So they tried to give more time to these candidates. And third list, and that is the precisely reason why Shivraj or other big ones are not there. People are taking it other way around.
No, Shivraj got his way by the end. The
Third race he got.
By the end, majority of the BJP candidates who are contesting have affiliation to Shivraj Singh.
Let's now come to Jayavardhan Singh. He fights from his father's erstwhile principality of Raghogarh. He is on a strong footing. He's the son of the former Chief Minister Digvijay Singh. He's up against Hirendra Singh, and he is on a strong wicket. So that is Madhya Pradesh. And now from Madhya Pradesh, let me see if I have some more people we can spend time on. So let's take Jitu Patwari. Jitu Patwari, interestingly, Pradeep Gupta is predicting is on a tough fight. It doesn't mean Jitu Patwari will lose. The sample that we did suggests that Jitu Patwari, former minister in the Kamal Nath government, is on a tough spot.
You see, if you look at Indore city, as per Pradeep's poll, that's where there's a virtual sweep this time for the BJP. In fact, if you look at the entire Malwa belt, that's where the huge gains that the BJP is making compared to 2018 when it was a tough fight. Jitu Patwari contests from just outside Indore in a place called Rao. You know, he is seen as a Rahul Gandhi man. Rahul Gandhi wants to effect a generational change in
But can he
Madhya
be,
Pradesh.
if the Congress loses and Kamal Nath and Digvijay Singh have to kind of end the innings, is the guy ready?
I think the biggest challenge for the Congress, my belief, is how do you find an OBC tribal face? You see, you're going to have to look at caste politics in Madhya Pradesh very differently. Jitu Patwari may not necessarily be your answer. He's a good organizational man. He's ready to be out there. He's a bit of a strong man. But what this party has lacked in Madhya Pradesh is a strong tribal OBC face for the longest time. You tried Arun Yadav. Earlier there was Jamna Devi, but you've never been able to find someone who can really take
Kantilal Bhuria.
Kantilal Bhuria in another age, yes, but again short-lived.
Rahul Verma, if the BJP ends up with 140 plus, then the theory which was floating in political circles that the BJP may attempt a chief minister change, is that likely to go through, or do you think with 140 they can't mess with Shivraj?
See, these decisions are taken at the very top, right? And all these rational calculations which we are doing is not what makes...
No, but do you agree that only an in today's Madhya Pradesh you have to have an OBC face?
I agree with Ashok Malik's thesis that if BJP is close to majority mark, then you are bound to have Shivraj Singh Chauhan. But if it's 140, 150, then you can engineer a change much easily. And so that's much more
No, but then that jeopardizes a potentially risk 2024. The central leadership is much more interested in
ministerial candidates. 2024 is largely about Prime Minister Modi. And in fact, if you think about this, the MPs going in Madhya Pradesh and contesting is a signal for change of guard in Madhya Pradesh.
No,
I think that process has begun.
Because, let's be also clear. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, interestingly, is the last chief minister in this era from the Advani-Vajpayee age.
Yeah.
I think he was appointed in 2004, 2005, the first time. You had Uma Bharti, she loses out, then you had Babulal Gaur, and then you eventually have Shivraj. He's the last one left. So, then it will start the speculation. Is the aim to completely decimate the Advani-Vajpayee era?
Anyway,
But at 150, it's interesting that you're saying closer margin means Shivraj's chances are
Then
greater.
you need a face who can manage all the contradictions.
To hold together a disparate coalition.
That's right. But I'm just saying, maybe they'll wait till May. I don't think Mr. Modi would want to rock the boat after such a big victory, at least for the next 6 months.
No,
Then after May...
And it is not just a management and electioneering victory. If you get 140 plus, you have to give credit to the chief minister. You can't take that away from him. He's largely behind a scheme. 50% of the women, according to Pradeep's data, voting for the BJP. It's very tough to dislodge somebody who's just come back to power the fourth time. Let's now move to...
If the BJP wins 150 seats, and if there is to be a change in chief minister, it's now. It's not in 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Let's now come from Madhya Pradesh to Rajasthan. And again, in Rajasthan, oh my God, the level of detailing and interest with which all the top players, including some who I thought would be watching Hindi news channels, but all of them listening to every word. Now, we have to be very careful, Rajasthan. Only what happens is, bolte bol jate. You have to be very, very careful. That kind of just slows you down from 5th gear to 4th gear. Let's start with Ashok Gehlot, Sardarpura. Let's look at what the trend is. The chief minister, and obviously if the polls showing that he may actually bring the Congress back to power, he's looking strong, he's looking good.
Ashok Gehlot is a great survivor of politics. If a cat has 9 lives, Ashok Gehlot has 19. Every time you've written him off...
So what's a cat with 19 lives?
He has, over the years, very, very softly demolished all his opponents. In 1998, when he contested, Parasram Maderna was supposed to become the man, the first Jat chief minister that Rajasthan would have. Slowly, Ashok Gehlot was able to somehow ensure that he became chief minister. Then over the years, Shishram Ola, now of course Sachin Pilot.
CP Joshi.
CP Joshi. CP Joshi was, look, sometimes God smiles on you. CP Joshi would have become chief minister in that election, loses by one vote.
Oh, he's frowning on CP
look at
Joshi.
it, think about it. You become chief minister because your primary rival, who by all accounts when you speak to congressmen had been decided upon a chief minister, loses by one vote. I mean, maybe the gods have smiled on Mr. Gehlot. He's the Jadugar. He literally is a Jadugar. And when you speak to him, you will never get a sense that he's ever flustered. He's a bit like my friend, another political friend, Sharad Pawar. You never know what is going on inside their mind. That's why I said, if it is 9500, if it's close to majority mark, Gehlot bhi apna khel khelega, boss. He's already got those 2-3 BTP tribal MLAs. In fact, one congressman told me, Gehlot साहब independence का ज़्यादा ख्याल रखते हैं हमारा कम. He makes sure कि उनको सबसे, one of them was given apparently the best suite in the hotel, during the pilot revolt. They kept the Congress guys in the smaller rooms and all the independents were given the suites because he said, उनकी ज़रूरत ज़्यादा पड़ने वाली है आपकी कम.
Rajdeep, the local cadre there says कि Gehlot जी की पार्टी में बहुत IOU हैं और पार्टी से बाहर और पार्टी है उनके साथ MOU है.
बिल्कुल सही. Very, very nice.
So now let's come to Vasundhara Raje. Vasundhara Raje Scindia, the former chief minister of Rajasthan, looking very strong on her seat. She's up against Ramlal of the Congress party. So in Jhalrapatan, Vasundhara Raje looking strong. And, and imagine if the BJP ends up, Ashok Malik, in a hung kind of situation, is it advantage Vasundhara?
Yes, I would say, like Rajdeep said, if it's a hung type situation, like it was in Rajasthan when the Congress won, Gehlot had an advantage. Earlier, Bhairav Singh Shekhawat used to run very narrow majority governments or even minority governments. So if the BJP wins 150 seats in Rajasthan,
a question that's been asked, Pradeep, often is this.
But if it's a narrow margin,
who are the others, apart from the Congress and the BJP, the others who seem to be popping up in your poll? Are they more the BJP rebels? Are they more the Congress rebels? 45 odd rebels on both sides.
So total is about 14 to 18
who are winning.
Who are winning. 2 CPM, 2 BTP, now BAP, 6 of them from BJP, rebels, and 2 from Congress.
So therefore, given these numbers that
So it's
Pradeep is
actually
throwing
6-6.
up, you see the 2 CPM would go with the
6-6.
Congress, the 2 BAP would go probably with the Congress.
And BSP too.
The
BSP will
BSP
also
too,
go.
and Hanuman Beniwal's
Hanuman
party.
Beniwal too.
And Hanuman Beniwal's party too. Now, Hanuman Beniwal
Hanuman
is interesting.
Beniwal himself.
You know, Hanuman
Now,
Beniwal
very
today, I asked somebody, Hanuman Beniwal is very clear. I will support BJP so long as it's not Vasundhara. Anyone but Vasundhara. He's made it very clear, I will not support Vasundhara Raje. So, it's interesting how the dynamics play out.
So he's looking strong on his seat.
He's a fascinating political character. I mean, Preeti will know. She went to Nagaur, I think. In Nagaur, he's the big boss. So he's got his arrangements worked out, but in a very localized way. But these are the guys who are going to be priceless.
He was the one, Rajdeep, who in the beginning was trying to put together a motley crew of the Aam Aadmi Party, Sachin Pilot and the RLP coming together. He was the one behind it who wanted to engineer this kind of coalition to come in as a third front. But of course, that never happened.
Let's come to Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore. Interestingly, he's in a tough fight. Up against Abhishek Chaudhary of the Congress. Again, I want to say very clearly, that doesn't mean he will lose. It means our poll sample suggests it's a closely fought race. So
No, but Pradeep, why do you then put one person as strong and other as weak? Does that mean that he has the edge?
No. I'll explain.
It doesn't mean that he has the edge.
That is us. Pradeep didn't do it like this. Pradeep said it's a tough fight.
Tough fight.
Because this is automated data, Rajdeep.
Okay.
Therefore, we can, and because this is essentially for counting days, so you can show somebody winning and you can show somebody losing. Because it's an algo, there is no provision for a tough fight. I mean, there are only two colors, right? There's saffron and there's blue. So what we are doing is we are saying that this is a tough fight. It doesn't mean he will lose. It just means it's a tough fight. So please keep that in mind.
The
so
margin is likely to be in the range of 3%.
Okay.
That is classified as tough fight.
And he's the sitting MP
A
from
close
Jaipur
fight.
Rural.
Yeah.
And his own party is doing it.
You know, the other one is Shanti Dhariwal. He's an interesting character because many hold him responsible for the so-called coup that took place in the Congress last year, which ensured that Ashok Gehlot stayed on.
His name was the last one to be
and
announced.
Sonia
for a
Gandhi
ticket.
was dead against it. Sonia Gandhi said, "Usko dena hi nahi hai. Kaun hai ye Shanti?" And there was Shanti in the room, apparently, the moment she said that. Eventually, Mr. Gehlot was able to get his way, but it took a lot of effort.
Last 3
Mahesh
names
Joshi
announced.
didn't get it, the other coup leader, but Shanti Dhariwal eventually got it. And you're saying he's in a tough fight. He's that old-style leader who's been in and around politics for years.
Gehlot loyalist.
So let's now
IOU
come to Vishwaraj Singh Mewar,
CP
the
Joshi.
prince of the erstwhile state. He is trailing or looking in a tough spot in comparison with CP Joshi of the Congress. Rajdeep was just mentioning the man who lost out by 1 vote, who could have potentially at one time
2008.
being chief minister. He's looking strong. So this is Rajasthan. Is there anybody else you want to spend some time on?
Professor Gaurav Ballabh,
Okay.
Someone who's been in and around television.
who lost the
screen.
last election in Jharkhand,
That's-
now has come here.
It's a
and
very-
he's
He
up
spent so
against
much time in Jamshedpur in
Tara Chand
XLR.
Jain and guess what? So the governor of Assam, Gulab Chand Kataria, is the one who enjoys a lot of support in Udaipur. So he's written to the Election Commission, Professor Gaurav Ballabh, saying that Gulab Chand Kataria stayed put for 20 days, the Assam governor in Udaipur, meeting people during elections. But anyway, so it's
he's
a very
a
polarized
professor in
election in
finance.
Udaipur.
And
This
it's
was-
interesting, someone who contested an election in 2019 in Jharkhand
He's
and lost.
He's a professor at
Well, he's a
XLR.
professor, but he tells me that Udaipur is his sort of homeland, and he's come back home.
But it's so polarized, Rajdeep. This was the first election that the Prime Minister held where he invoked Kanhaiya Lal, if you
That's
remember.
right.
One interesting character is Mahant Balaknath. Now, let's just take a look at what's happening in Tijara. He was the number 2 candidate in that list of who people wanted as chief minister in Pradeep's data. He came out after Ashok Gehlot, followed very closely by Vasundhara Raje Scindia. Could he, Ashok Malik, be chief minister? Is he like a Yogi Adityanath
the
kind of
Yogi of
character?
Rajasthan, as he
I think that is media speculation more than.
Pradeep, what are you picking up? What was the popular? He made some controversial statements.
My job is to report what people are saying. So people are saying 10% to Mahant Balaknath versus 9% to Vasundhara Rajeji.
To my mind, if the BJP gets more than 120, one of the buzz The buzz in the...
That is just gossip.
Right, they got gossip, we are speculating at the moment, kaun banega Mukhyamantri, the BJP wins. Diya Kumari has given up.
No.
One
But come on, if you want to replace Vasundhara Raje Scindia, you can't replace one royal and make Diya Kumari the chief
And
minister.
giving
Why
her
not?
the safer seat for the BJP.
Why not?
She's
Arre,
got
then the BJP
Rajdeep,
wants to
if you
say
would
we
have
want to
stood on the
move ahead
BJP
from the
ticket from
Rajmahal.
Vidyanagar, you
We
would
want
have
a man of the. We want somebody who's from the masses. You can't remove Vasundhara and make Diya Kumari. I mean that.
Not possible.
Ashok, that baffles me. I mean,
you
this is not
will
possible.
probably end up getting a very strong organizational face with strong BJP RSS connections, possibly.
Look,
as chief minister, you're
As
saying.
an alternative to Vasundhara, if
look,
that is possible.
if the BJP gets more than 120,
It can do
only
whatever it
person who knows who's going to become the chief minister
Is Mr. Modi.
is someone called Mr. Modi. If anyone had told me, for example, in Haryana in 2014, that Manohar Lal Khattar is going to become the chief minister, I would have said, you must be joking. The line had all the Captain Abhimanyu Singhs, all of them were lined up. Who does Mr. Modi make? He makes Mr. Khattar. I mean, the famous story of Bhupendra Patel. In that meeting when Mr. Rupani was removed, he was sitting in the back row. And suddenly it was announced, Bhupendra Patel, Mr. Patel turns to his the person next to him and said, "Ye Bhupendra Patel kiska naam? Mera naam hai." That literally happened.
Oh, come on, some of this is just
That
making up.
literally happened. He
But
did
was
not know.
surprised.
Baba Balaknath fancies his chances quite a bit. He's had Yogi Adityanath come in, campaign for him, and you saw that because it was a polarizing election, and that's why he stands where he does in our poll at 10%, because people are connecting, echoing with the polarizing narrative. Therefore, Baba Balaknath,
You know,
Rajasthan ka
that's one
Yogi.
way, ma'am. There are two ways to look at it. If our numbers are right in Rajasthan, the polarizing narrative has had
Has not
limited
worked.
impact.
Has not worked.
Then why will I make Mr. Balaknath?
True.
Please appreciate.
Then
If-
it's Vasundhara Raje.
Right. So if Vasundhara Raje, I think if it's a hung assembly,
Yes.
chances
Or a
strong.
close.
Or close. If it is a 120, just go to 7 Lok Kalyan Marg and Rahul will tell us who's the next chief minister of... You'll have to find out from Mr. Modi's mind. You'll have to go inside his
ऐसा
mind.
पंगा लेने का ही नहीं. But why?
See, Rajdeep,
Why guess? You know, if you don't know-
the BJP has tried to effect a generational change in many states. In some places successfully, in some places like Karnataka, a little unsuccessfully.
Right.
So if you have 130, 140 seats, you will try and affect it.
Sure. But at the moment, our polls are not showing 130,
Agreed,
140.
agreed,
So,
absolutely.
given our polls, I think Vasundhara Raje will be happiest with Pradeep Gupta. She's already sent him a box of fruits yesterday.
कौन सा fruit मिला आपको?
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Rajdeep, problem, don't say these. The problem is you say this and people who are watching are imagining that actually a box of sweets has come.
नहीं यार, कहाँ आता है?
अरे सर यही तो प्रॉब्लम है. वो ऑफिशियल हैंडल से ट्वीट हुए वीडियो को लोग बोल रहे लीक हो गया. अब आप बोल रहे हो बॉक्स ऑफ स्वीट्स, पीपल आर सेइंग कुछ मिला होगा इसको.
But some of the independents that you speak to in Rajasthan, they're very open with allegiance. Yunus Khan, who's close loyalist of Vasundhara Raje, is very open. He, right now standing as an independent from Didwana, was sent in 2018 to fight against Sachin Pilot. They're not given a ticket, the only Muslim face of the BJP. Very open.
Okay.
Says, if it is Vasundhara, I'll go back.
No, he's going to win.
And he will win. In
By
all
all
probability.
indications on the ground,
Yunus
Yunus Khan
Khan,
will win.
Yes,
won.
in all probability he should win.
So he
Okay, so now I want to come to Chhattisgarh. So let's come to Chhattisgarh and let's look at the VIP seats of Chhattisgarh and try and get a sense of what's happening in Chhattisgarh. So we'll take you through Raman Singh in Rajnandgaon. He's looking strong. Bhupesh Patel in Patan looking strong again, the incumbent chief minister. Interestingly, Amit Jogi, Ajit Jogi's son, is against Bhupesh Patel. He's looking weak on that seat. Vijay Baghel, nephew of the chief minister, who's an MP in that area, he's been made to fight an MLA election. He's looking weak. So this is actually one of the big fights on Sunday. Vijay Baghel, Amit Jogi. This is like a big tucker. This is like the big battle of Chhattisgarh.
You know, the buzz was that Amit Jogi has been pushed into this battle by the BJP. The buzz is the BJP gave him a chopper. The BJP told him to tie up, sue all third front candidates who didn't get Congress or BJP tickets, take them all together. And in Chhattisgarh, margins can be low. And as our poll says, the others are getting a substantial share of the vote. So I think Amit Jogi may not be able to take Ajit Jogi's legacy forward. And I
He's
tell
a highly controversial character.
he himself is. But you know, Ajit Jogi, when you talk to people, he's very well regarded. You talk to people, they will tell you administratively, they give a lot of credit for Chhattisgarh's emergence in those early years to Ajit Jogi. Ajit Jogi lost out in Congress politics, eventually became, formed his own
Lost
party.
out because of his own misdeeds.
He did, but you know, what you and I, that's why I say you and I in studios think that Ajit Jogi was identified with corruption, with sleaze. On the ground, Ajit Jogi has a very strong vote of people who felt that he stood up for their rights.
Okay. So this is T.S. Singh Deo in Ambikapur. He's looking strong. The former, like erstwhile prince of the Principality of Sarguja, he's looking strong. Remember, in that area of Sarguja, the Congress had done very well in the last elections. They would hope to do an encore. And if, I mean, of course, T.S. Singh Deo is looking strong, but if around him he's not able to hold on, it will make Baghel's task tougher.
You know, I spoke to someone close to T.S. Singh Deo, and they made an interesting point. They said, हमारे आदमी को आपने मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनाया despite आश्वासन. आपको लगता है इस बार भी हम उसी तरह से वोट देंगे? You see, people have you know.
In Sarguja Sambhag, which is Sarguja division, 10 seats, BJP is doing extremely good in this region, except this seat of...
You see, because that's, you know, people felt, and there were Rahul Gandhi had reportedly given a commitment, 2.5 years to Bhupesh Baghel, 2.5 years to T.S. Singh Deo, and suddenly T.S. Singh Deo lost out, eventually was made Deputy Chief Minister just a few months ago. He's a very nice man. If I was ever to find a nice man left in Indian politics, T.S. Singh Deo would be right up there. He's a genuine gentleman.
No, but you can't compare Baghel's popularity with that of T.S. Singh Deo and his command over his MLAs. Bhupesh Baghel demonstrated the MLAs rally around him. Now, when it comes to BJP effecting a generational change in the post-Raman Singh disposition, the one person they're speaking about is Om Prakash Chaudhary. Om Prakash Chaudhary used to be a former government officer. He gave up his IAS. When the top BJP leadership goes, they call him in, they talk to him, consult with him. And he's really emerged as an important character in this election. He's, of course, very young. Will they pick a young face like this? We don't know just at the moment, but he's a former government officer, very well regarded in BJP circles, fighting from Raigad.
He is doing lots of social work even when he was IAS
He and
officer.
Arun Sahu. He and Arun Sahu are seen as the Gen Next.
He was rated very highly as a civil servant. He's got a social work, body of work. Even outside his government.
But if the BJP wins, I would bet on Arun Sahu becoming Chief Minister. Because they have consciously worked on building a leadership outside the sort of upper caste, traditional dominated leadership of the BJP in Chhattisgarh. And Arun Sahu represents that new generation. The BJP is always very quick to seize if they can find strong OBC faces, strong non-upper caste faces.
And they lost a lot of the Sahu vote in the last elections.
Which they, you know, they gave 14 seats to Sahus this time. Out of their 90 seats, 14 have gone to the Sahu community. The BJP has realized this is a community which may well stand with us. So he's a potential chief minister. The BJP can pull off.
Other big BJP face there coming from the trader communities, Brij Mohan Agarwal. But remember, the problem in a tribal state with somebody coming from the trader community is that there's a pushback that you get from the poor and impoverished as far as the community itself is concerned. But former State Home Minister Brij Mohan Agarwal looking strong in his seat of Raipur City South. He's a very strong politician on the ground, so he's looking strong in Raipur South. So is there anyone else we want to spend some time with? So from Rajdat Sahu, we can take a look at that and what's happening in rural Durg. He's the State Home Minister. He's looking strong in Durg Gramin.
He was the third person who was hoping to become Chief Minister. Baghel, Sahu and T.S. Singh Deo were in that battle. Baghel won out, Sahu lost out.
You know, the other interesting thing that I can do, which we didn't get a chance to do yesterday, using the post-poll data, is to show you what the new and old maps of Chhattisgarh will look like. You know, and one of the reasons that we do this is in the interest of transparency to actually put out the seat-by-seat data. So on this side of the screen is the data from 2018, the last assembly election results. This side is what the new assembly of Chhattisgarh could look like. And when you see, there are some very clear trends that emerge. A, the Congress is coming down from a very exalted plane where they were last time. The BJP, which had really collapsed, has bounced back. So those two trends which we were talking about in the build-up, that continues to happen. And that this really is a tight fight. Momentum, 26 seats up the BJP, 45, 23 down the Congress, which means, you know, momentum in favor of the BJP and against the Congress.
The big change is taking place in the tribal belt. You go to Bastar and Sarguja, 25 out of the 29 seats last time went to the Congress. There was a sweep in Bastar. They won 11 out of 12, won the 12th in a by-election. Now look what's happening. You're seeing in the tribal belt the BJP making gains. both there in South Chhattisgarh, and that, to my mind, is where this election gives the BJP half a chance.
So I can isolate Bastar and try and show that. So this is what Bastar will now look like according to the poll. This is what happened last time, and this is what's likely to happen now. So that is as far as Bastar is concerned. This is the overall state map. Now, the thing over there, Rahul Verma, is if you see here, the trend is pro-BJP, BJP graph bound, going up sharp, Congress's graph coming down quite a bit. Typically, when that happens, the BJP pulls it away. So it will be interesting if Pradeep's poll, which directionally shows the Congress in front, actually comes true.
See, I think there are two reasons why it may still remain what we are seeing. One, I think the gap with BJP and Congress had in 2018 is very, very large. Second, I think 6 months ago, it seemed that BJP had given up the fight and Congress was much ahead in the game. I think BJP realized very late in the game that there is massive sort of like anti-incumbency against the MLAs, and if they get their ground game right, they can actually give a tough fight. So what I sense is happening that BJP's campaign only picked up in the last 2 months, and that's basically about it.
No, so also it's if you look at the historical trend line for Chhattisgarh, this is BJP basically coming back to the mean, which we've seen because typically in 2003 the BJP had 50 seats, 50 in 2008, 50 in 2013. After that it crashed. So that election is really the outlier. Now they're almost coming back close to where that trend line has been. The Congress has been below the BJP in a very flat kind of fashion, almost suggesting as if nothing happened in the election, which is obviously not true, and went up massively and is now coming back to where that traditional line in
because
Chhattisgarh has been.
2018 election in Chhattisgarh was an outlier. Otherwise, 3, 8, 13, all were very, very close elections.
Especially in vote share.
Yeah.
They remain extremely
Let's
close.
now do the same thing.
Rahul, I just want to add one point over here among the Bastar and tribal belt of Chhattisgarh. This time the GGP, which is the tribal party, Gondwana Gantrat Party, and BSP, can you imagine the alliance of Adivasi and Dalit this time which is happening and which is cutting the Congress vote and BJP's emerging victory?
You know,
Guess who sponsored that alliance?
I don't know that.
That's the buzz. On the street in Chhattisgarh, that's the buzz. That this alliance, you see, the BJP realized, and this is where the micro strategy comes in. You realize that if we can have a consolidated third alliance, they may well take the votes of the Congress, make it a tighter fight. I'm saying it, that's the way politics is.
Yeah, but
you might often sponsor a third party.
Why was BJP able to do this in Chhattisgarh and even perhaps Madhya Pradesh, but not in Rajasthan? Like, is there some internal sort of politics that's pushing BJP to do something?
So let's come to Rajasthan and let's look at the power map of Rajasthan. Now here on this side of the screen is the 2018 results. You see the regions of Rajasthan which are in blue, those are Congress regions. The saffron regions are BJP regions. The purple is the others. What you're seeing on this side, which is a big change, Rajdeep, from the last time, is that the BJP is doing well in pockets of Rajasthan where the Congress had done well last time. And that is interesting. There seems to be a lot of changes in many of the regions, which were earlier saffron, now blue, which were earlier blue, now saffron.
The BJP story, Rajdeep, is in East Rajasthan here. At least where the Gujar vote has completely, or broken at least with what our exit poll is showing. Because in 2018, it had en masse, they thought the promise of Sachin Pilot becoming the chief minister had gone to the Congress. And if you look at areas like Tiroli, Dholpur, Bharatpur, Sawai Madhopur, that's where you'll see the BJP making inroads.
I think there are two areas where the BJP will hope that
Shekhawati, the other one.
That while Pradeep's poll may be directionally right, they get a disproportionate benefit. One is Eastern Rajasthan, one is the area in and around Jaipur, and one is Shekhawati. You see, traditionally, Congress has done reasonably well always in Shekhawati. But as Pradeep's poll shows, there's a tough fight there. As Pradeep's poll shows, Eastern Rajasthan, BJP is picking up, and in and around Jaipur, as someone told me, take the highway from Delhi to Jaipur and see who's winning along that highway. You'll find this time that the BJP does better. How much better is the question? Because Pradeep's poll shows Mewar clearly going towards the BJP, Marwar slight edge for the BJP, Hadoti slight edge for the BJP. Correct me if I'm wrong. But where the Congress seems to be doing well, Ganganagar, Bikaner areas, and the Congress seems to be doing reasonably well.
Dhundar.
Sorry?
Dhundar region Congress is doing
That's right.
extremely well.
Extremely well.
You see, that's where Dhundar was the region where the Congress was expected to do not so well. If the Congress is able to hold its own there, then you've got a tough fight. What Rajasthan is showing, it's virtually seat by seat. There's no region except for Mewan where one side is sweeping. So even eastern Rajasthan, it's not a sweep. You see, that means that the Gujjar vote, even if it is leaving, is not leaving en masse.
Exactly.
And from Pradeep's micro data, what I sense is women again. Women are giving 4% lead to the Congress over the BJP.
Shekhawati, Rajdeep, Shekhawati 2018, the BJP only won 3 seats. An area like Sikar, 8. In a district like Sikar, 8 seats. BJP didn't even win 1. This time they are in a fight.
Yeah, but they're winning small. They're not sweeping a region.
They're not sweeping.
You see, that's why
they've never swept Shekhawati. They have never swept Shekhawati.
If they sweep, to BJP when it's won, has usually won big in Rajasthan. You look at their victories in 2003 and 13, they're big victories. There seems to be something which has changed on the ground in Rajasthan, if Pradeep's numbers are right. And the only change I see is women.
Rebels, women and rebels.
Rebels and Dalits. You see, the point which was just made by Rahul, why is it that the poorer Dalit and tribals in Rajasthan are not doing what it appears they're doing in Chhattisgarh and certainly in Madhya Pradesh? And they can, we don't know. Maybe the welfare benefits, the Mehengai Rahat camps, all of them have gone and reached the poorest of the poor. And across the states, we've seen that. In Karnataka, we saw poorer regions voted for the Congress. Are we seeing, at least in Rajasthan, the Congress being able to hold on to that lower income group, which the BJP perhaps has not been able to tackle?
In the few minutes that we have, I want to introduce Ashok, T.S. Sudhir and Rahul to the strength scan and our viewers as well. This, to my mind, is one of the most fascinating insights that you will pick out in real time on Sunday. As of now, this is powered by the seat-by-seat data that Pradeep has given us. So, this is a BJP SWOT analysis for Madhya Pradesh. It tells you what worked and what didn't. The BJP had 58 safe seats in Madhya Pradesh, which means seats that the BJP won in every election for the last 3 elections. So, if you see the seats which are the darkest shade of saffron, those are the seats that the BJP has been winning for every election in the last 3 elections. Our data suggests that the BJP is likely to win 45 of those seats. So 45 out of 58 safe seats, which is a good number, they kind of hold on to. Why the BJP in Madhya Pradesh seems to be doing well is because they have 82 relatively safe seats. Now, relatively safe seats are B category seats. These are seats which that particular party has won in 2 out of 3 elections. So if you won that seat in 2 out of 3, we classify it as a relatively safe seat. The BJP has won 57 out of those. And interestingly, and this is where ticket distribution and the fact that tickets were given out much in advance, the BJP is now expected to bag 46 out of 79 weak seats. Weak seats are seats which they won only once in the last 3 elections. Very weak are those which you've never won in the last 3 polls. The BJP expected to bag 4 out of 11. So a lot of the micro detailing that Amit Shah and the BJP in Madhya Pradesh have been working on is helping them in the very weak and weak seats where they are picking up 46 out of 79 seats.
Now, can we do a similar analysis for Rajasthan? Because in Rajasthan, BJP wins big, which means that BJP should have more safe seats.
I can do that very quickly, but our producers also want us to take a break and come to Telangana. And everybody in Telangana who's waiting for the numbers are saying, boss, ye to kal aadha bata diya. Come to Telangana. So everybody's waiting for that, but since Rahul Verma has asked for that, I'll do a strength scan for Rajasthan. Again, it will also help ensure that everybody gets what's being said, and this helps everyone prepare for Sunday. Not just as our newsroom preparing, but all of us who are watching together also get a sense of this data. So, on the 28 safe seats of Rajasthan, India Today Access My India predict that the BJP will bag 19 of them, which is not a good number. If you have 28 safe seats, they are safe because you are expected to bag them. This should be 24, 25, 26. On the relatively safe seats, 1 out of 3 wins for that party, 36 out of 77 wins. On the weak seats, weak because it's 1 win in the last 3 polls, the BJP bagging 31 out of 76 and only 5 out of 19. That's not a good, think of it as cricket. Yeah. You want your strong batsmen to do well, you want your all-rounders also to chip in, and agar tail-ender ne bhi maar diya to balle-balle. That's not happening. But let me show you the Congress numbers so you get a sense of how the Congress is faced. Congress winning all their safe seats, but they have only 5, so that's not big. Congress winning 27 out of 60 relatively safe seats. Congress winning 29 out of 82 weak seats, and interestingly, winning 21 out of 53 very weak seats according to Pradeep's data. And that is a bit surprising.
You know what this would
Congress
show?
a bit of an advantage.
You know what?
Seems to give the Congress a bit of an advantage.
What this would show is that there is a lot of churning of sitting MLAs. You see, where MLAs may have been there twice, thrice, people are looking at them and saying, I may not necessarily want them anymore, particularly BJP MLAs. You know, that's the interesting factor. This election, because the BJP is not putting up a top leader, they are relying on their MLA strength. The Congress's MLAs seem to be at the moment holding their own, while the BJP's MLAs may not be doing as well if Pradeep's numbers are right.
So think of it. Rajasthan has 200 seats. 50 seats Congress has never won. Meaning to reach 100 seats, they have to convert that from 150. So they have a much bigger
No,
sort
I
of
can
like,
explain that. So this is the BJP's gains and losses. BJP gaining 7 seats in Ahirwal, just 1 in Hadauti, 4 in the Jaipur region, down 1 in Jaisalmer, Bikaner, up 6 in Marwar, minus 1 in Mewar, up 2 in Shekhawati. The Congress, on the other hand, if you look at the data, shows down 5 in Ahirwal, down 1 in Hadauti, up 2 in Jaipur, up 2 in Bikaner, Jaisalmer, minus 4 in Marwar, plus 1 in Mewar, and minus 2 in Shekhawati. And the point, Rajdeep, is this level of micro detailing and analysis, forget any other Indian network, international networks would struggle to do this. That is true.
You know, the big picture is what happened 5 years ago in Madhya Pradesh will happen this time in Rajasthan. You will be here till 10 p.m., possibly even later. It's going to be an election.
It's a Sunday. We don't want to be here
It's going to the wire. It's an election that's going to go down to the wire, where you will go region by region, seats will change, narrow margins. Trust me, that's the election that I believe out of all the states, the state that's going to go to the wire, the cliffhanger of 20.
But the big excitement is in Telangana.
This was the case with
and
Chhattisgarh.